The King of Fighters 94 is a fighting game released by SNK for the Neo Geo-based arcade system in 1994. As the inaugural game in the King of Fighters series, the game was soon also released for the Neo Geo home console systems, including a Neo Geo CD version. In 2008, KOF 94 was one of 16 games included in SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1 for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable and Wii. KOF 94 is a crossover featuring characters from SNK's previous fighting game properties Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting. It also includes revised versions of characters from their pre-Neo Geo games Akari Warriors and Psycho Soldier, as well as original characters created specifically for the game. The plot features the creation of a new King of Fighters tournament, created by the criminal Rugal Bernstein. SNK developed KOF 94 with the initial idea of using several games from the company in order to attract gamers who played these games. The characters' designs, as well as its innovative gameplay system based on using teams of 3 members, were both well received. The success of the game allowed SNK to produce a long collection of sequels in the King of Fighters series. In 2004, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the series, SNK released a remake titled The King of Fighters 94 Reboot. It features the original game and a new version with higher resolution graphics. Gameplay. The basic gameplay system of KOF 94 is similar to SNK's previous games like the Fatal Fury series, Art of Fighting and Samurai Shodown. The game uses a 4-attack button configuration similar to Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special, that consists of light punch, light kick, strong punch and strong kick. Like in Fatal Fury 2, specialized techniques are performed by pressing buttons in combination, allowing the player to dodge an opponent's attack or to launch a character's powerful knockdown attack. As with most other fighting games, each character has a set of basic, unique, and special moves that can be performed by the player with a specific series of joystick and button inputs. Each player has a power gauge at the bottom of the screen which charges when the character is blocking or taking attacks. It can also be filled manually, although it leaves the character vulnerable to an attack by pressing and holding 3 buttons at the same time. Once the power gauge is filled, the player's basic attacks become stronger for a short period. When the characters are in this state, their players can also perform the character's super move, which immediately consumes the entire power gauge. The players can also access their character's super move when the life gauge is 75% empty and flashing red like in Fatal Fury 2. Use of taunt moves can reduce the opponent's power gauge, slow down their manual charging, and stop them reaching the maximum level. Notably, KOF 94 innovated the genre by replacing a traditional round-based format used in preceding fighting games with a format consisting of 3-on-3 team-based matches dubbed the Team Battle System. Instead of choosing a single character, the player selects from one of 8 available teams, each consisting of 3 members. Before each match, the players choose the order in which each of their team member enters the battle. When the match begins, the members chosen to go first on their respective teams will fight. When one character is defeated, the following member of the same team will take his or her place, while the character on the other team will have a small portion of their life restored. If a character is losing a match against the opponent, then the player can call one of the remaining teammates standing on the sidelines to jump in and perform a support attack. The match ends when all 3 members of either team lose. Plot. The rich and notorious arms and drug trafficker, as well as a skilled and ruthless fighter, Rugal Bernstein has become bored with the lack of competition, so he decides to host a new King of Fighters tournament. He has his secretary travel to 8 destinations around the world to invite fighters to compete in his new tournament. Unlike the previous KOF tournaments depicted in the Fatal Fury series, the new King of Fighters is a team tournament, with 8 teams of 3, each representing a different nationality. Characters. Most characters come from other SNK games, such as Team Italy, which is composed of the 3-player characters from the original Fatal Fury. The leading duo from Art of Fighting, Ryo Sakazaki and Robert Garcia, are featured with their mentor and Ryo's father, Takuma Sakazaki, who make up Team Mexico. Team Korea includes Kim Kaf-won from Fatal Fury 2 as the leader of 2 convicts he is trying to reform. Team England is a mix of female fighters from Fatal Fury 2 and the Art of Fighting series. The 2 heroes from Psycho Soldier form Team China along with their mentor, Chin Gensai. Team Brazil composes of Akari Warriors characters Ralph Jones and Clark Still, as well as their commanding officer, Haydn. The game also features 2 teams composed entirely of original characters. Team Japan, including Kyo Kusanagi, Benimaru Nikaido and Goro Daimon, and Team USA composed of Heavy D, Lucky Glaber and Brian Battler. Development. According to an interview with veteran designers of the King of Fighters series, the prototype version of the game was a side-scrolling beat-em-up, titled Survivor. It would only use core characters from the Art of Fighting and Fatal Fury series, specifically allowing players to play Robert Garcia and Terry Bogard for location testing. However, the idea was eventually abandoned. Since SNK were attached to the idea of the 2 series crossover, they eventually agreed to make their idea into a fighting game. Characters from Akari Warriors and Psycho Soldier were also added to the roster. The concept of a 3-man team was one of the ideas kept from the side-scrolling version. The title, The King of Fighters, was reused from the subtitle of the first Fatal Fury game, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. The King of Fighters series director Toyohisa Tanabe asserted that the Art of Fighting and Fatal Fury fighters were added specifically for adults, and the newer KOF characters were aimed to appeal to younger and newer audiences. Characters such as Benimaru Nikaido and Chang Koen were added to have an offbeat variety to the cast, which he has previously deemed to be too serious. SNK artist CAC Yamasaki commented that although the lead programmer thought the game would not sell well, he believed it would eventually become popular. 10 people arrived at the first location test, but larger numbers came to subsequent tests. The SNK staff also had troubles with advertising the game due to a lack of money, and some of their ads were noted to be of a poor quality. Designers wanted a new, snazzy, lead character who would easily fight Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting characters. He was named Kyo Kusanagi in order to relate him with the Yamato no Orochi legend. The boss character, Rugal Bernstein, was developed to be the mightiest and most evil boss character ever. The game was developed to have a fugitive team, composed of Chang, Choi, and an unknown criminal, but Kim Kaf-won was placed in their team. The English team was composed of King from Art of Fighting along with Billy Kane and Big Bear from the first and second Fatal Fury games. Designers had several problems with Big Bear concerning capacity, and the Art of Fighting staff insisted on adding Yuri Sakazaki to KOF. Yuri replaced Billy Kane, and later Mai Shiranui took Big Bear's place to form the England team. However, designers focused in adjusting the imbalance of certain characters without removing any move. In the end, creators of the series noted that the Art of Fighting characters were the strongest ones in the game. Nevertheless, other characters such as Terry and Andy Bogard became the ones who got the designers' utmost attention and were given new moves. Release: Neo Geo Systems The King of Fighters 94 was released in Japanese arcades on August 25, 1994. Home versions of the game were released later that same year for the Neo Geo ROM cartridge-based system on October 1 and for the Neo Geo CD on November 2. In 2012, KOF 94 was announced to be included in the set of 20 preloaded games being shipped with SNK Playmore's new handheld game console Neo Geo X. But it was ultimately replaced by the King of Fighters 95 emulations on November 6, 2007. The Neo Geo version was made available for download on the Wii's Virtual Console download service for a price of 900 Wii points. The North American and European versions followed on November 23, 2007 and January 7, 2008, respectively. In 2008, an emulation of the game is included in the compilations SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1 and the King of Fighters Collection. The Orochi Saga, both released for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable and Wii. It was also released by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable on December 21, 2010, as one of the first games in the Neo Geo Station lineup. A remake, titled The King of Fighters 94 Reboot, was released for the PlayStation 2 in Japan only on December 28, 2004, commemorating the 10th anniversary of the franchise. Reboot features the original 1994 game and an enhanced version featuring higher resolution graphics. A team edit option feature similar to the later KOF games, the ability to play as Seizu Kusanagi and Rugal Bernstein, arranged music, new stages and an online versus mode. SNK Playmore commented that they received negative fan feedback regarding the game's simple upscaling and smoothing of character sprites, so they decided to create brand new high-resolution sprites for the following games in the series. A North American version was meant to release for the Xbox. It was actually completed and was even reviewed by some publications, but was then cancelled on March 23, 2006 for an undisclosed reason. Related media. The game received a variety of licensed media released in Japan in 1994, 1995. The original soundtrack The King of Fighters 94 and the arranged soundtrack The King of Fighters 94 arranged soundtracks, both released by Pony Canyon. The art book The King of Fighters 94 published as part of the Gamers MOOC series by Shinseisha. The Laserdisc audio and video release The King of Fighters 94 by Pony Canyon LD. Several manga published in the Gamest Comics collection by Shinseisha. A Yonkoma manga by various artists, titled The King of Fighters 94 for Komikete-ban. A selection of illustrations and short strips by various artists, titled The King of Fighters 94 Comic Anthology. Ryo Takamisaki's 6-volume adaptation series titled The King of Fighters 94 Gaiden. Reception. The game was well received, with reviews generally praising the deep combat system and the matching up of fighters from different SNK franchises, though the inability to choose team lineups in team battle mode was a near-universal complaint among critics. Reviewing the Neo Geo home version, GamePro remarked that the character selection is massive but very unbalanced, and that most of the new characters are goofy-looking and underpowered compared to the other fighters. They nonetheless concluded that The King of Fighters is the very best non-showdown game available for the Neo Geo, and it's one of the most playable fighting games ever, citing enjoyable gameplay additions such as the dodge move and juggle combos. In a review of the Virtual Console release, Lucas M. Thomas of IGN praised KOF 94 for its graphics, including fluid animation and vibrant colors, but concluded that buyers might be better off waiting for the improved sequels to arrive on the Virtual Console. According to IGN's Jeremy Dunham, the game was essentially a cross between Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting, with a faster control response. He added commented that the creation of 3-on-3 battles was an advanced feature for a game from 1994 and the idea of borrowing characters from other games from the company was also innovative. Reviewing the Virtual Console release, Dan Whitehead of Eurogamer identified the use of characters from multiple franchises and the team battle mode as the most distinctive points. He concluded the game to be a solid, technical fighting game that, like most SNK outings, skews more towards the hardcore player than the casual punching aficionado. According to Kyle Knight of Allgame, the graphics and sounds, while better than most games of the time, were subpar by SNK standards. He concluded The King of Fighters 94 is a very good fighting game, but it lacks some refinements that would have made it great. Electronic Gaming Monthly gave KOF 94 its Game of the Year awards in the categories Best Fighting Game and Best Neo Geo Game of 1994. Additionally, Mai Shirani was awarded the title of Hottest Game Babe of the Year. In Japan, the game was awarded the title of Best Game of 1994 in the 8th annual Grand Prize by the arcade magazine Gamist, also placing first in the categories of Best Competitive Fighting Game and Best Direction, 5th in Best Graphics, and 3rd in Best VGM. The game was acclaimed in a number of retrospective articles and top lists by several publications. G4 noted that The King of Fighters 94 was regarded by some fans as the Street Fighter beta, and was unique due to its team system. Maximum similarly called it the first beat-em-up to offer more than the Street Fighter series, and said that the game helped spearhead the SNK Renaissance. 1UP.com lauded the game for its large and well-balanced cast of characters, calling it a hell of a cast in 1994. In 2010, Yugo.com listed it among the top 25 fighting games of all time, while Gameplay Book ranked it as the 7th best 2D fighting game ever made.